Now, how on earth can broke be the new rich? I hear you ask before clicking onto this video. Exhibit A. Meet Alex, a UK resident who, after losing his job in 2020, began claiming universal credit. Over time, Alex discovered that by reporting fluctuating income and housing situations, he could maximize his benefits. He now receives housing support, child benefits, and even a disability allowance, despite working informally. In the US, Maria, single mother, navigates a complex web of assistance programs. By strategically reporting her income and childcare expenses, she qualifies for SNAP, Medicaid, and housing vouchers. Maria's situation highlights how individuals can, through careful planning, optimize their benefit intake. These examples illustrate a broader trend where individuals faced with economic precarity become adept at maneuvering through bureaucratic systems. While some view this as resourcefulness, others see it as exploitation. Yet, somehow, being broke is starting to look like the new rich. I know it sounds like utter nonsense until you see the amount of social commentary flooding the timelines of unsuspecting dopamine seekers. It appears people are really waking up to the fact that grinding 9 to 5 every single day, only to just scrape by, it's not making sense anymore. Not in this economy, not with this system. This isn't a movie. This is gaming the system 101. And I'm here to break it down for you. You've heard many people complaining that they simply cannot afford to purchase the basics. Do you see what's happening? People aren't living. They're surviving. In the UK, it's estimated over 30% of working households now rely on some form of government benefit to make ends meet. Energy bills, rent, council tax, all up. Food prices, double what they were pre-2020. Families choosing between heating or eating. It's not even a metaphor. It's real life. Across the US, nearly 6 in 10 adults say they're living paycheck to paycheck. Credit card debts hit over $1.3 trillion. Meanwhile, jobs aren't paying more, just expecting more. Even countries like Canada, Australia, Germany, middle-class citizens are hitting the food bank. People with jobs, degrees, kids. Let that sink in. Now, I hear you asking, so what's this loophole you speak of and who's capitalizing? Or shall we say, who's winning? Certain groups of people, let's call them the discerners. I was joking, scrap that. Now corrected. Well, they clocked something different. They realized this system, it's not built on fairness. It's built on exploitation. So if you're not the one exploiting, finish the sentence. That's when they turn to the loophole, the benefit system. Now, I'm not talking your grandma's pension. I'm talking full-blown modern-day hustle, the new age welfare economy. The proliferation of online forums and social media groups sharing tips on maximizing benefits further fuels this phenomenon. The dissemination of such information blurs the line between survival strategies and systemic abuse. This dynamic challenges the policymakers to address not only the structural flaws that allow for such manipulation, but also the socio-economic conditions that drive individuals to seek alternative means of sustenance. Just to give you some context, right? In the UK, you've got things like universal credit, housing benefit, child benefit, ESA, free school meals, warm home discount, NHS low income scheme. Some people working part-time just enough to stay under the threshold still claim rent support and child tax credits. Others fully unemployed, saying they've got chronic stress or back pain, getting PIP payments for years. Some even do gigs under the table, no tax, no trace. They're not lazy. Oh no, far from. They're just playing the game. Let's turn to our US counterparts. In the States, you got EBT for groceries, Section 8 housing, Medicaid, TANF, SSI and SSDI, and now various state level basic income pilots. People out in Florida, Texas, California, you got whole families on these programs collecting 3 to 4 benefits per household. And again, working cash in hand, flipping things online, reselling, even monetizing social media while claiming poverty. They figured it out. How to live with zero official income, but everything paid for. And here's the kicker. No tax. Let me tell you about Jay. Jay's 35, used to work warehouse jobs, tired of it. Got laid off during the 2020 madness and never looked back. Today, he lives in a council flat in South London, pays £200 a month for a flat worth £1,800. The rest is covered by a housing benefit. He claimed he's unfit to work due to anxiety, gets PIP and universal credit, free prescriptions, travel discounts, no tax. But what's Jay really doing? Well, he's eBay flipping. Cash in hand handyman jobs, TikTok lives, selling sneakers on the low. Pulls in roughly 2,000 plus a month under the table. His missus is doing nails from home, also on benefits. No one reports nothing. Now, Jay's not rich, but guess what? His fridge is full, he sleeps in, doesn't answer to no manager. He's not a criminal. He just understands the system better than most. And Jay's not alone. Now, let me ask you this. Is Jay the villain? Or is he just playing the same game the government's been playing? This is capitalism, right? Capitalize. And people are. They're capitalizing on the benefit system because the real villains, they already wrote the rule book. Think about it. Governments allow the loopholes. Why? Because every penny that filters down eventually flows right back up. You think that housing benefits is for you? No, that's rent money for a landlord portfolio sitting in the south of Kensington. You think food stamps are feeding families? Maybe. But they're also feeding quarterly profits for Tesco and Walmart. It's a closed loop. You're just a cog. The system's not broken. It's functioning perfectly for them. Just not for you. And here's the twist. The more people that depend on the system, the more control the system has. Dependency becomes currency, poverty becomes policy. So, is Jay the villain for playing the game? Or are we just watching a pawn wake up on the chessboard? Remember this. In a society built on consumption, the ones who consume least are punished, but the ones who exploit that consumption, rewarded. So maybe Jay's not lazy. Maybe he's efficient. Maybe he's just doing capitalism correctly. But at what cost? While individuals may exploit welfare systems, it's essential to scrutinize the structures that enable such behavior. Policymakers and institutions design these systems, often with complex eligibility criteria and limited oversight, creating fertile ground for manipulation. Furthermore, the economic activity generated by welfare spending often benefits corporations and service providers. Funds intended for basic needs flow into the markets, stimulating demand for goods and services, thereby profiting businesses. This dynamic raises questions about the true beneficiaries of welfare programs. Are they the recipients, or the entities that capitalize on increased consumer spending. Additionally, political narratives around welfare often serve to distract from systemic issues such as wage stagnation, job insecurity, and wealth inequality. By focusing on individual misuse, broader structural failings remain unaddressed. In this light, the discourse around welfare exploitation may serve as a smokescreen, diverting attention from the need for comprehensive economic reform and equitable wealth distribution. The interplay between economic hardship and welfare exploitation in 2025 underscores the need for a holistic reevaluation of societal values and systems. As philosopher Socrates once posited, the unexamined life is not worth living. It's imperative that we, as a society, examine the structures we've built and the behaviors they've engendered. True prosperity lies not in the manipulation of systems, but in the cultivation of equitable opportunities and the reinforcement of communal bonds. By fostering a culture of integrity and shared responsibility, we can aspire to a society where the new rich are defined not by their ability to game the system, but by their contribution to its betterment.